afternoon, Leslie. We've been getting heavy rain, all thanks to our tropical moisture coming up from what is now called Invest 91. This is sitting right near the Yucatan Peninsula, the Bay of Campeche, down here in southwest Gulf. Notice the very high chance this becomes a depression, maybe even a storm. So that moisture is spreading far, far away from where this thing actually could develop. And then we do expect it to turn to either northern Mexico or into south Texas by Wednesday night into Thursday. Looking at satellite here, a fairly impressive mid-level spin here. It'll be interesting to see, does this take over and try to develop? There's also another complex of storms that'll move out into the Gulf here and may try to wrap up too. So we call this a double-barreled situation. You may have a couple circulations fighting each other, but generally it's a broad circulation that's going to spin out over the western Gulf. Here it is, broad, very broad actually. By tomorrow, heaviest of the rain starts to move into Texas, away from us, and notice we may start to miss a lot of the rain heading into Wednesday as the heaviest of it moves into Texas and into northern Mexico. So we still think if it's going to form into a depression or a named storm, it would move into this general region here, with that being where the biggest impacts will be. For us, I think today is going to be our rainiest day, and then isolated showers and storms tomorrow along with Wednesday. So your swath of heaviest rain where you're going to see your maybe 5 to 10 inches along the Texas coast here, from Houston and down to the south. Now for us, we're not out of the woods. We are going to have some high totals. I think we're going to have some high totals by the time today is over with, and there is a flood risk today, but it's going to be a bit more isolated. This is what we're watching right now, a slow moving line of very, very heavy tropical rains. These are drifting through the area slowly, so this could begin to add up. We've already picked up nearly 2 to 3 inches in the immediate metro area right now. It is raining heavy in Slidell. It's going to continue as this drifts to the northwest. So we're watching that flood risk for the rest of the afternoon. And wherever you see these reds, that is very, very heavy tropical rain here. It's adding up quickly, and you can see it's not moving continuously. We're getting some back building, so that's when you run into problems, that training effect. So for the rest of the afternoon, most of us see at least 1 to 3 inches. Don't be surprised in the 5 o'clock news tonight if we're talking about some spots that picked up between 3 and 6 inches of rain. We've already had a couple places pick up that 3 inches of rain. It's also not going to be very windy today, but occasionally some wind gusts. I do think the winds will pick up tomorrow and into Wednesday as that area of low pressure develops down west of us. It'll start pulling some winds into it. Those will be east winds, and so we'll start to see some coastal flooding mainly on Wednesday. Tides will be 1 to 3 feet higher than normal. So the flood risk is our main concern here. We have a level 2 out of 4 for flooding today. We're watching that closely, but watch what happens tomorrow. That flood risk really starts to shift west of us. Houston's in the bullseye tomorrow for the heaviest of the rain, and by the time we get into Wednesday, that low pressure making landfall probably somewhere down here, but it's a lopsided, messy June system. The rain's usually far away from the center, so this corridor from Houston to San Antonio to Corpus to Austin, that's where we're probably going to have our big flood risk on Wednesday. Reason it's taking this path here, well, there's a big ridge sitting to our north. It's going to grow stronger in the next day or two. That should send this disturbance right there, South Texas and into Mexico. The ridge does get stronger as we head into the end of the week here. There's also another area of low pressure that may develop here off the East Coast. Models have been a bit confused on what they want to do with it, but maybe a weak low pressure with some rain coming up towards maybe Georgia or Jacksonville, Florida, or up to Charleston, South Carolina. That would be by the end of this week. If you're heading to the Florida beaches, I don't see any major problems, just a big rip current risk. Please don't get in the water if the lifeguards are saying not to. Rip currents are a real deal threat. All right, 80% chance of rain today, 50 tomorrow, 40 on Wednesday, and then things look a bit drier towards the end of the week here, but I'll at least keep a chance for some storms, classic summertime stuff. Once again, rip current risk, it is high every single day. The Gulf is going to be a choppy mess this week, and rip current risk is high. We've already got waves of 7 feet. These will go up as that storm continues to gain organization in the next 2 days. So we'll keep you updated. Alberto may form, head into Mexico or South Texas. For us, we're going to have our highest chance of rain throughout the rest of today. We're watching that flood risk. Tomorrow, storms are a bit more isolated. Same thing on Wednesday as that moisture departs us, and then we're left with hot conditions, plenty of humidity, and a few pop-up storms into the end of the week. Our marine forecast, not good weather to be out on the Gulf. Winds should be picking up into tomorrow and Wednesday, easily sustained at 25 knots. Could see gusts over 30. And look at the seas on Wednesday, 7 to 10 feet out in the Gulf. That's quite a chop, 3 to 4 feet for our lakes. And small craft advisories in effect for the rest of the week pretty much. High tide's going to happen through the early afternoon, and low tide, that'll happen later on this evening.